Good evening, everyone. This is your evening news recap, your nightly news podcast on all the news that I come across throughout the day, giving you my take as somebody who aspires to be a politician in the near future. Hopefully, all you guys are doing wonderful. Hopefully, all you guys are doing well. Today is October 27th, and it is Monday. Hopefully, all you guys had a wonderful day of work or school or whatever you do throughout the week. Hopefully, you guys are doing wonderful. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. All support would be greatly appreciated as we are trying to hit 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the day. Not by the end of the day, by the end of the year. We just hit 450 subscribers today. That's why I was thinking about day. So thank you all for that. Thank you all to all the new people who are subscribing. We're in the home stretch. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. And if you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing as well. All funds go to me. That may pay for the things that I need to pay for in college, like my food, like my clothing, like all of that. But if not, you can always subscribe for free. I truly do appreciate all forms of support on this content. And with that being said, let's get into the news from today. Moving on into the Trump administration segment, as we do, the first topic we have today is Trump has announced that he had an MRI. Trump has announced that he had an MRI scan during a recent hospital visit. Trump said on Air Force One, I did. I got an MRI. It was perfect. He continued, the doctor said was some of the best reports for the age they've seen ever. Then when he was asked why he got an MRI, Trump said, ask the doctors. I'm going to be completely honest here. I think at some point during the Trump administration, Trump had a stroke, genuinely, and they are actively trying to hide it. Remember when he disappeared for a week and, the one picture we did see of him, he looked extremely droopy, especially on the side of his face. And, as a whole, he looked droopy. On top of everything else, like his age, his clearly worsening health conditions, I would not be shocked if he had a stroke at some point during this administration. I hope he makes it to midterms, in all honesty, because if Vance becomes president right now, we're going to have a lot more problems. But I would not be shocked to hear that Trump had a stroke during his administration. I'm going to be completely honest. I think that was the case. I genuinely think that's why we didn't see him for so long, and that's why he's having to do things like having MRI scans, having to go to the doctor so often. Granted, yes, he's a very old individual. People his age shouldn't even be president in the first place. But I just would not be shocked with the age that he is and with the terrible medical health he has. I wouldn't be shocked. In other news, Trump is still upset about TV ads against him. In a post on Truth Social, Trump made it known that he is still very upset about the lies made by the left. In his post, he wrote, after winning 3 elections by a lot, I am now getting the best polling numbers I have ever received. People see how strong the economy is, the trillions of dollars of investment pouring into our country, the record-setting strong border after years of millions of criminals pouring through it. It's totally unvetted and unchecked. Ending an 8-year war in 8 months, no men playing in women's sports, no transgender for everyone, rapidly falling energy prices, and much more. Despite all of this, the radical left losers are taking fake ads and not showing the real polls, but rather saying that I'm polling at low levels. These are the people that I've been beating for years, and I am continuing to do so, but by even bigger margins. These ads should not be allowed to run because they are fake. Well, let's go through the list here. For one, we all know that Trump didn't win in 2020, and we know that the economy right now is the furthest thing from strong. I mean, there are more people unemployed than there are jobs available in this country. Groceries are at an all-time high, and even energy prices are at an all-time high, which we'll talk about shortly. But, he claims that he has ended 8 wars in 8 months, but he started 2 in that time, that being with Yemen and essentially with Venezuela. I'm sure that is going to come within the next few days. And along with him failing to actually get a ceasefire done in Gaza, like he is not as successful as he claims to be. Israel has struck Gaza on multiple occasions since he claimed to have a ceasefire done, and they are still doing that to this day. There is no ceasefire in Gaza. As for energy, these prices are not down. In fact, they are 13% higher this year than they were in 2022. And for the polls, Trump has a 39% approval rating, according to The Economist, which is the lowest approval rating of all time for a president. The lowest of all time. He is the worst president in American history. And that is the bottom line. Trump is the worst president of all time. He has to lie. He has to make fake stats to make him look good, or else he shows that he is not a great president, which is a fact. He is a failure, and he acts like a child. And it is, in all honesty, depressing to watch him on an international stage. It is embarrassing to watch the fact that Trump is the president of the United States. It genuinely is. In other news, Trump has challenged AOC and Jasmine Crockett to an IQ test. Trump has told reporters that both Jasmine Crockett and AOC were low IQ people. He said that he challenges them to take cognitive tests that he passed. Trump said, "We have a great group of people, which they don't. They have Jasmine Crockett, a low IQ person. They have AOC, is a low IQ." He said, "You give her an IQ test, have her pass exams I decided to take, claiming that they would never be able to answer those questions." I would argue that both Jasmine Crockett and AOC would blow Trump's score out of the water. In fact, I hope they do take those tests to prove that. And I'd like to see Trump take another test where he can guarantee that the numbers are correct and not false, just like I'm sure all of these tests that he have taken are. Because I highly doubt that he would even be able to pass the test in the first place. I mean, look at his grammar. Genuinely, he said they have AOC is low IQ, not even A. He said they have AOC is low IQ. That's how he speaks. Like, nothing against people with a speech impediment. Like, that's something I struggled with growing up. But, like, to say that these people are low IQ individuals when Trump is at his age and he can barely form a sentence correctly is actively insane. I highly doubt that he would be able to pass an IQ test. Genuinely. Honestly, I'd like to see him try and pass any test. But hey, he's just going to lie about what he gets on it anyways. Anyways, moving on into our other news segment today, the first topic we have is thousands of employees overseeing nuclear weapons are now furloughed. After 3 weeks of a government shutdown, the Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration has furloughed 1,400 employees, only retaining 400 who will work now without pay. The agency is responsible for securing the nation's nuclear weapons, and without these workers, there could be risks to that. This is the first time in the agency's history workers have been furloughed, and many executives are now worried about this because of the possible risks. I could see this becoming a massive problem very easily if it's not solved. Last time nuclear workers were put in jeopardy, the government worked very, very fast to solve them. And the Trump administration even said it was an accident to fire these workers. And I wonder if that will be the case here because it's our nuclear stockpile. That is one of the most essential parts of the United States defense. And if we don't have that, how are we going to defend against other nuclear powers throughout the world? I would not be shocked if we have issues with our nuclear stockpile in the future if we don't do anything to solve this. But, you'd think that the Trump administration would put workers for the nuclear stockpile ahead of ICE officers. But I guess not, because, it's more important to pay a mass Gestapo than it is to pay people who are actually significant to our government and to our country. Oops. Anyways, in other news, Neutrogena has announced a makeup wipe recall. Neutrogena has recalled its makeup remover ultra soft cleansing towelettes because of a bacterial contamination. An investigation displays 1,312 cases of wipes testing positive for I'm going to say this like horribly. I do not know how to pronounce this. This is, a very odd word, so bear with me. But the Pearlbacter geograve bacteria. However you say that. I'm not a health expert. So, according to the FDA, exposure to this may cause temporary medically reversible health consequences or the probability of serious adverse health consequences, which is remote. These cases are located in the following states: Texas, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. I used to use makeup wipes, in all honesty, and now I use like the cold cream makeup remover, which is so much better. This is not an ad in any way, shape, or form, but I will say like cold cream makeup remover is the way to go. It works so much better than a makeup wipe in my experience. Not only that, but you get so much, and it works way better. It genuinely does. I honestly recommend it so much more than makeup wipes. It does so much better, taking off makeup. So like if you wear makeup, that's my recommendation. I'm not an expert on it, but Pond's is the way to go. Look into that if you are looking for something other than makeup wipes. In other news, moving on into our final topic for tonight's, New York is opting to give $30 million to fund SNAP. New York Governor Kathy Hochul has announced that $30 million in emergency food assistance funds will go to SNAP benefits for the nearly 300 million residents of the state who use those benefits. Hochul said in a press release, "I'm doing everything in my power to soften the blow of the destruction of Republicans in Washington that are inflicting on our state." She continued, "While I have said repeatedly that no state can backfill these devastating cuts, I am committed to ensuring New Yorkers do not go hungry this holiday season, and am taking action to support the families suffering the consequences of Republicans' cruelty. Republicans in Congress voted to rip healthcare and vital services for millions of New Yorkers, and my administration and the people of New York will continue to hold them accountable." Of course, this is great news for New York and the people living in the state. Nobody should be going hungry during the holiday season. But unfortunately, that's going to be the case with the SNAP benefits being cut. Genuinely, it sucks. It really does. It would be interesting to see what would happen if states like New York and California pull their tax dollars from the federal government and instead pool them together to fund SNAP benefits like this if the Trump administration is going to refuse to. Because, for one, the people are the most important part of this country. They are. And, if we're not going to protect the people, what the hell are we doing? But also, why would we fund the government during a government shutdown when they are refusing to, provide SNAP benefits to the American citizen while people are at risk of going starving during the holiday season? These states should just fund that themselves. I mean, especially California, the fourth largest economy in the world. I'm sure California would be better off if if we pulled funding from the federal government because we pay more money to other states to keep them running than we receive back ourselves. But also, unfortunately, Democrats do not have the spine to do that and never will. But power is the money, and a lot of things could get done if they tried to do that. Is it illegal? Yeah, but people shouldn't be starving during the holiday season. And if the government isn't going to solve that, then why are we paying them taxes? Genuinely, that is what they should do. They should be working to protect the American citizen and working to make sure the American citizen gets what they want. But unfortunately, the Trump administration refuses to do that, which is why Trump is not a president of the American people and cares more about himself. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed. It has definitely been a very interesting day in the news world, that is for sure. If you're new here, though, please consider subscribing. All the support is greatly appreciated. As mentioned, we are trying to hit 500 subscribers on YouTube by the end of the year. I believe we can do it without a doubt. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. And if you're on Substack, please also consider subscribing as well. All funds go to me. They help me pay for the things that I need to pay for in college, like food, like my groceries, like all of that. Groceries and food are the same thing. I keep doing that. My bad. All those kinds of things. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching today's episode. We're out here building a political platform. So if you're interested in a country that actually cares about its citizens, that actually provides things like food for its citizens, or provides things like free healthcare for its citizens, or provides a better education system for its citizens, drop a subscribe, because that's what we're here to do. With that being said, though, thank you everyone for watching today's episode, and I will see you all tomorrow.